as well. So good evening and welcome. For those who may not know me, my name is Eric Buer, and I'm the camp director for Fire Mountain Scout Camp this summer, as well as the program director for Mount Baker Council. We're here to talk a little bit about Fire Mountain this summer and see what will be going on. Let's see. In terms of topics, I want to give a little update on the state of Fire Mountain and where we're sitting right now. We'll take a look at fees and the payment schedule for camp and answer any questions you have there. I can speak a little bit more about our COVID-19 plans and adjustments that we're making, as well as share some sample camp schedules for what your unit might experience at camp this summer. These are similar to what was shared back in November, but we've got some more details and can answer some more questions there. We'll talk about dining at camp this summer, what that's going to look like. I'm going to give a shameless plug for summer camp staff because that's the ultimate program that we offer at Fire Mountain, and we're always looking for more great scouts to join us there. Since I've got just a couple of folks online with us right now, does anyone have any specific questions beyond what I have shared that I can speak to or address as we go through this? All right. So then we have Fire Mountain is operating for 5 weeks this summer. 4 weeks of traditional Scouts BSA Summer Camp starting July 11th. And the week before that, we're offering a provisional only program we call Adventure Week. This has yet to be fully released and up on the council calendar for registration, but this is an opportunity for scouts to come to camp as provisional into individual units, ad hoc units for the week, based on what program, what offering they're interested in. So Adventure Week will be composed of 4 to 6 different thematic adventures focused in program areas. So there is an aquatics adventure, a shooting sports adventure, a survival skills adventure. And in each adventure that will focus on a couple of merit badges particular to that program area, but we'll also have some advanced instruction, and we'll look at some special activities often leaving camp. The Aquatics Adventure, we're looking at a day of sailing out in the San Juans as an opportunity for that group, or possibly some sea kayaking as well. With wilderness survival, or with the survival skills one, we've got an overnight shelter and primitive skills workshop in the works with some experts who are really enthusiastic about what they're putting together. So we're expecting full details on this and registration to open later this month. So if you have scouts who are looking for more to do this summer, or who maybe can't go to camp with your troop during your scheduled week, but could go a different week, have them keep their eyes open for Adventure Week. Okay, so that's then the rest of our schedule for this summer. We're feeling strong optimism for where we're heading this summer. We think it's going to be a great program, and we'll continue to see that in the slides ahead. If you've not registered for camp yet, or are wondering, here's our camp fees. In-council price is $370 per scout. This is that in-council price is extended to some of the local councils also that don't have their own summer camps for their scouts to attend to. That includes Pacific Harbors and Blue Mountain Council as opportunities for their scouts to come. And that's the early bird price, as long as you're paid in full by May 15th. That's what you're looking at. Otherwise, the price does go up just a little bit there. And here's the payment schedule. Right now, we're closing in on February 15th, which is the deadline to confirm spots at camp and to have paid your first $25 per scout. If you've already registered for camp, that means you've already put in your $250 deposit, which covers the cost of your first 10 scouts. After that, you need to pay that additional $25 by February 15th. After that, the next payment we call the family commitment payment is due March 15th, and that's a further $75 per scout and $75 per adult. April 15th, there's no money due, but if you have scouts who will be applying for the Mount Baker Council Camp Grant, this is for Mount Baker Council units, and that'll cover 50% of their camp fees. Then that's the deadline, April 15th. Got some folks waiting to come in. And then finally, full fees are due by May 15th for youth and adults. A word on the deposit. So right now that $250 deposit is non-refundable, as well as the $25 per scout. We do make the guarantee that if Washington State decides that they're not going to allow us to operate for another summer, then all of the fees that are paid will be fully refunded, including even those otherwise non-refundable portions. Welcome to those folks who've just come in. We are just talking a little bit about the nuts and bolts of camp. Moving on, if you have questions or comments, chime in or drop a message in the chat window, and we'll talk to them. So in terms of a reality check and understanding how COVID-19 is impacting us, we are currently engaged with a group called the Washington State Camps Coalition, and they're actively lobbying the governor, working with a contact in the governor's office to expand the current guidelines to allow for summer camp to operate. This group is tied in with the American Camp Association, which is great because they've got a ton of research and experience from the past year demonstrating that with the appropriate non-pharmaceutical interventions in place, that camps are safe places to operate. In fact, there's a study by the CDC out of Maine that suggests that the kids who were at camp were safer while they were at camp than they would have been at home from COVID-19. So as long as the appropriate interventions and procedures are in place, camp can be and is a safe place even in the midst of COVID-19. We also know that with the expansion of vaccines for adults and older youth, that this is looking more and more positive as an outcome for the summer. In terms of a timeline for a final decision from the state, we're anticipating not getting a final decision until April. And as soon as we know more, we'll be continuing to communicate that with our units. The operation of camp will be built on the field guide for camps that was put out by the American Camp Association last summer. This was put together by an independent environmental health and wellness firm that looked at best practices for preventing the spread of disease. And they've continued to work with that group to update it with lessons learned from 2020. So we're very confident that those lessons learned are going to enable us to operate a safe camp this summer. You've probably heard the term the cohort-based model, and that's how camp will be experienced by Scouts in 2021. What that means is that each troop in their campsite forms their own cohort, which doesn't have an opportunity to interact or have close contacts with other units. So they have their own personal Scout camp experience rather than being connected to everyone the way we've been in the past. There were about 60 Scout camps across the country that were able to operate in 2020, and all of them using this cohort model, and the feedback that we got from those camps has been really positive. The lessons learned or the feedback given from units was that it was still a great and supportive Scout camp experience. The adult leaders enjoyed the opportunity for closer interaction with their Scouts than they might get during a typical week at camp, where the Scouts are all over the place, moving every which way. And that was really positive for us. We know that COVID-19 is ever changing, ever evolving. And so we can't offer final details and plans to you, but we've got lots of thinking and lots of plans in place and ready to go as we get closer and can nail things down. We're also happy to answer questions or address concerns that folks have in any setting about this, because our first priority is that your scouts are safe and healthy for their week at camp. So what does a week at camp look like? This is a sample that was shared in earlier presentations, but for those who haven't seen that, each cohort would have an opportunity to move through the week of camp looking at a schedule like this. In terms of advancement, we have 6 blocks for merit badge activities to happen, and the bulk of those merit badge activities will happen in the campsite, delivered by unit leaders and by scouts with support from camp staff. Denise has a question about whether troops will be cooking their own meals, and I've got a slide for that coming up, Denise, so we'll speak to that in just a moment. In each advancement block, a troop will have an opportunity to choose an activity bundle, and this bundle will have 2 or 3 merit badges collected as part of it. Our goal in creating these bundles is that both younger scouts and older scouts will have opportunities to take a badge that that will engage them and be worthwhile to them. So a troop will sign up for a particular bundle, and then within that bundle, scouts will choose which of the badge alternatives they're going to sign up for and take. And Chris asks just that point, will there be opportunities for both older junior scouts and senior scouts to engage, to be engaged during each bundle? And that's what we're trying to put together. Let me show you our next slide here. This is a sample of what one troop's activity schedule might look like during the week. And we can see that in the first part of the week, they've signed up for a marina bundle, an emergency bundle, and a forester bundle. In marina, in the case of our aquatics bundles, either marina or beach, the troop will be going to that site. There at the marina, the scouts will have an opportunity to do either canoeing or kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding. So the scouts can choose which of those is the appropriate challenge level for them. In emergency, they can look at some Eagle requireds here, either the first aid merit badge or the emergency preparedness merit badge. In the forester bundle, we have both soil and water conservation and forestry as alternatives. Again, I present these as examples of what will be available. Each of these bundles are still being finalized for our program guide, which we're working to have published by the end of the month. Notice that a couple other features of the schedule. In the evenings, we have different activities that the troop will also have a chance to choose from. Every troop will have a chance to do the zip line one night and to host a group of staff members visiting them and putting on a traveling campfire program. But other activities in the evenings will be signed up for ahead of time and include things like this giant water slide that we're building above Kit Carson Field, a troop boating outing, maybe a troop shoot, a hike along the historical trail, and a whole host of other options there. Okay, the other bundle that will move troops out of the campsite are shooting sports bundles, either rifle, shotgun, or archery. Will be opportunities for troops to leave their campsites and visit the ranges there. And we're working out some new procedures in place to make sure that everyone can enter and exit the range in a safe manner and be safe even while instructors are on site and managing that. Oh, Wednesdays. Wednesday is a day off from advancement, and so it's an opportunity for troops to schedule some extracurricular activities, some fun things. In this case, Troop 1 here has decided that on Wednesday morning they want to sleep in, and then they have some downtime scheduled, and then after lunch they're going down and spending a few hours kayaking on Big Lake. And so those are the choices that they've made, and we're looking at a great collection of different activities that troops can sign up for. It'll be a little bit of a first come, first served issue there, but we don't plan for any activities that troops want to enjoy. Anything that you have an opportunity to do will be great. Here's a different sample schedule. In this case, we've got more of a fun and games activity with art or game design, more focus in the outdoors. We've got astronomy and space exploration coming in there. This troop has chosen to do some sign up for a Pathfinder session. So they may have a lot of younger scouts who want to take advantage of the supplies and skills available in our Pathfinders area. We know that troops have a range of boys, and so we're also adding some activities in the Pathfinders area that will engage our older scouts. In this case, we've got the Paul Bunyan Award offered as something that the scouts can complete there with the various requirements there. And we're looking at other opportunities for those older scouts to enjoy in addition to working with younger scouts and teaching at Pathfinders. Okay. Any questions about these schedules or activity bundle opportunities before I move on? I know that this is very much a new way of looking at signing up for merit badges, and it's going to have some level of restriction for troops because each bundle only has a limited number of badges. We're doing our best to provide choice and opportunity for our scouts while still working within the cohort model. Thanks, Wendy. Okay. Next slide here. Denise asked about the plan for dining at camp. So we're not looking to bring all of our scouts together into the dining hall, even with reduced sizes and the possibility of socially distancing our tables. It still seems like gathering too much people into one spot. Instead, we will be preparing meals for the most part in the dining hall and then delivering them ready to eat to the campsites. We do anticipate some in-site cooking. 3 to 5 meals during the week will be cook in site, and so your troop will have the opportunity to do some of their own cooking. Part of the program guide that will be coming out will include our menu, and we'll have notes for which meals will be cooked in site. Given that you'll be doing some in-site cooking, you should plan to bring some patrol cooking equipment with you, including things like your stoves, pots or pans, dishwashing equipment and supplies. Scouts should make sure and bring their personal mess kits. Let's see, and I say there that, yeah, expect that comprehensive dining plan, including the menu, to be included in the program guide. One of the things with cleaning, our ranger has asked me to make a special note of is that a lot of troops, when they camp at Fairmount, they just do their washing up in the hand washing stations that are in the campsites. And we want to encourage you not to do that. On a full week basis, when you wash your dishes in there, all of the food particles, there's not like a septic system that they empty into. They just wash out the drain and wind up on the ground and have a definite ability to continue drawing in animals and critters into your campsite. And also tend to gum up the hand washing station for hand washing, which is what it's there for. So the good old 3-pot method that we teach our scouts from tenderfoot on up is what we want to focus on and encourage while you're there at camp. Let's see. Wendy's wondering if troop trailers will be allowed to remain at campsites during the week. And yes, because troops will be bringing more equipment than normal with cooking equipment, we are going to allow troops to drive in and drop a trailer and drive the vehicle back out, but they can leave the trailer in for the week. I know when my troop did that, we tended, our trailer tended to stay packed with all sorts of stuff. And that still made it hard at camp. So maybe some selective packing of the trailer to make sure you've got the items that you want easy to access and easy to store. But otherwise, trailers are going to be great. All right. I mentioned a shameless plug for serving on summer camp staff. My personal summer camp experience starts as an SIT when I was 14 years old and continuing on through to today, serving in all sorts of roles at camp. I can't speak highly enough of the opportunity for a scout to spend a summer or 2 or 10 at camp. for what it offers. Some of the skills I've included here, these are 21st century skills that schools are trying to figure out how to more directly teach to their kids, how to prepare our young people to enter a modern workforce and set their best foot forward. And all of these skills are things that are woven into being developed while you serve on summer camp staff. I've come to think now of camp staff less as a job and more as the ultimate program for our youth. And sure, they get paid and they get room and board and they have a boss and a schedule they have to work to. But the opportunity to spend 5 or 6 or 7 weeks at camp in the outdoors is so much greater than what someone working at McDonald's or the Gap has an opportunity to do, and is definitely worth the time spent and the sweat equity that goes into all of that as well. The applying for camp is an online application. You can find that on our Fire Mountain webpage at the council website, or use the link here in the presentation to access that as well. So I know I've blown through a lot of topics, gone into just a little bit of detail. So if you have any questions or comments to share, you can feel free at this point to unmute and we can talk a little bit. Or we're definitely into our 15 minutes for the ScoutByte, so you're welcome to head on out and have a great evening. Thanks so much for coming, and I'll be here as long as you want to talk. Chris wants to know if ice will be available for coolers, since more food will likely be stored at camp. Yes, especially with pre-prepared meals, we'll be getting coolers and warm boxes in and out of campsites for each meal. But we'll have coolers available or ice available for you to use to stock your own coolers as needed. Thank you for coming, Wendy, and I appreciate your comments. Thanks, Annie. Great to have you here. Hey, Chris, I'll go ahead and send the PowerPoint your way. Thanks, Denise. Carl, you're wondering if areas will be open or some not able to be used. So the program areas that will be open and accessible are the ranges during scheduled times and the beaches during scheduled times. Most of the program activities will be delivered in campsites. Unfortunately, I see you asking about COPE. Unfortunately, COPE we've determined is too difficult to deliver safely in a COVID environment. And it's really staff intensive, even for small groups to offer. And so we've had to make the choice to spend our staff in different ways. So while we'll have a team to operate the zip line, we aren't going to be able to offer a high COPE or low COPE. And we regret that. It's a great resource to sit idle, but the best decision we can make for this summer.
Eric.
Hey, Amy.
Hi. Our troop, 7 of our 10 boys are eagling this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have 3 left.
Wow.
And so 1 is 2nd class, 1 is 1st class, 1 is star.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very different mix of what they could use. And if any of the other kids that have eagled come with us, they don't need a lot.
Right.
But still, we're trying to see if they'll spend 1 more summer with us. So what kind of things could we do?
Yeah, so I do think that some of those bundle opportunities that we've talked about will be great. And even if it's a badge, say that the Eagles or Almost Eagles have done before, going through it in this troop setting and engaging in some of the fun stuff could still be a draw. But if you're looking for activities that you're outside of advancement, any of the stuff that we talked about for Wednesdays or evening time, some of the hikes and explorations is something that potentially your troop could choose to do during those advancement times instead. So I see Rick mentioning here the opportunity for Eagle Palms, and if that's a draw for your scouts, then continuing to work on merit badges is certainly there. But looking for more experiences for them is something that we could work on. And because so much of this will be individualized for each troop, really there is that opportunity for you to reach out and say, we need something for these older scouts to do that's not merit badges, and we can work to customize that for them.
Okay, because I think we said that this is the 50th anniversary of the camp in our backyard. We've got to go.
So to clarify, that we're celebrating the whole year between 2021 and 2022 as a 50th anniversary. And there's this complicated disparity between when the camp was purchased in 1971 and then the first actual summer of program in 1972. And for a long time, we celebrated anniversaries based on the purchase date. And then about 10 years ago, we decided to change that. So there's a 6-year gap between the 35th and 40th anniversary. So that's why we said, and then with COVID not happening last year, we missed a summer. So we figure we're going to spend a whole year celebrating it, and that'll be great. So this summer,
sounds great.
We're going to get a chance to participate in this service project to the future, where just like 50 years ago, scouts were building Fire Mountain. Our scouts at camp this summer will have a chance to build something new that will hopefully be here for another 50 years and continue to serve our scouts. And we'll have the start of our merchandise and a couple of special collector's items that can be earned this summer, and that'll continue through to 2022 for next summer as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Amy, I dropped a couple pieces in. I don't know if this works for you, Eric, or not, but a couple things for the Eagles that we've done before is, swim the lake. There's different adventures where you try to get them that they do a little bit of everything. And, there's different awards at camps, different years. It can be different this year, I know. But the other is, I don't know if the option would be there, but maybe let them go to remote camp. Look, if they're Eagles, they shouldn't need to have an adult in camp. They need an adult on premise. So could you let them be a little more independent and come back and serve your youth during the day and then be on their own at night or something? I don't know, but get creative so they make it something that's their own and they get excited about it. I mean, I'll be honest, I consider what everyone reserves in camp Cub Scout camp, because when I was in my troop 1, we always marched through camp to go camping. And what I mean by that is until I had Cub Scouts, I'd never actually stayed in camp other than summer camp.
Chris,
That's a great idea.
Did you use the outpost sites that we have there, or did you just go find a dry looking patch of ground in the middle of the woods and set up tent?
Yeah, both. So Yellowknife was Yellowknife and
Yellow Hand, maybe, yeah.
Well, see, they had different names back then, and that's what I'm trying to remember.
We have Dull Knife, Howling Coyote, Curly Bear, and Uncas. Yeah,
so everything got renamed from what it used to be, but you go out the OA trail now to where the new OA go 2 camps further.
Yep. Okay.
So that was one that we used to use, and we called that used to be the Tenderfoot camp because it was near water and it was near civilization. And then the ones that we actually preferred to go to is out over past the power lines, over the bridge that no longer exists. The bridge is now defunct, but we'd go out on the other side there. And that's where, in those days you could still cut down trees and make firewood, and it was different. But what I mean by it is, they might be excited about that. I mean, I'll be honest, when we do our crossing over, our Eagles, it's basically our Eagles and our senior scouts that go out to remote camp. They all put up their if we do the one that's out past OA trail, they hang their hammocks. They don't actually use tents. They think tents are for, this is a bad
Yeah,
joke.
that's been our troop for the last 5 years.
Yeah, they call tents playing homeless. And they want their hammocks, they want the other things, but they want to really be remote. And that is the idea. And then we usually camp out as the adults. There's a camp that's kind of just over where they built the new AA stuff, where you can put your adults so they're close, but they're not there. And it makes it special. It makes it different, because we used to always say trail to first class was, all of your scouts craft. So you can now go out and do things on your own. You still need transportation, but if we did our job right, they should be able to be fairly independent.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just make them walk to camp.
Well, from lake up to camp is not too unreasonable a question.
I was going to say, we used to get dropped off. We used to get dropped off from the bus at the bottom of the hill where the sign says Fire Mountain up the hill.
We'd have to walk about a mile to get to that sign, but that's as far away as we are.
Oh, okay. Hopefully that helps, but I'd say enjoy. And if you've got the opportunity to get your eagles to be willing to come to camp, awesome.
Oh, we're going to try, because these of the 10 scouts that we have, my oldest is 18 this month, but the other 9 of them, this could be most of those Eagles guys' last chance to go. So if we could get them one more time, then
I challenge them 2 different ways. And one thing is, don't eagle out, eagle up. So if they're interested, there's a lot of other programmings. We've got ships and crews that continue, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the last year of camp. We are always looking for camp staff.
that is true.
I mean, whether it be working the docks, whatever, but there's ways to still be engaged and play. Why do we do this as adults? We like to play. If you don't play and have fun, why are you, I hate to say this, but why are you here? You're probably an old curmudgeon that needs to move. Sorry, Eric, I have 2 transparent, I know.
I'm gonna stop the recording now, but we can.
Yeah, I know.